I was standing at the dinner table holding my phone when my brother leaned back in his chair and laughed. "Show them," he said. "Go on. Let everyone see your balance." The room went quiet for a second. And then my mom smirked. "Don't embarrass yourself," she added. My thumb hovered over the screen. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. They thought I was broke. They thought I was a joke. And for a long time they were right. But what they didn't know, that one swipe was about to change everything. If you've ever been underestimated by your own family, comment below. And trust me, you'll want to hear how this ends. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 29 years old, and up until recently my family thought I had completely failed at life. I used to believe that too. I worked as a freelance graphic designer. Nothing glamorous. Just long nights, cheap clients, and constant stress about whether I could even pay rent. I didn't have a fancy office. No big salary. No safety net. Just a beat-up laptop. And a dream that honestly felt stupid most days. And my family, they never let me forget it. It started small. Little comments here and there. "Still doing that online thing?" my dad would ask, barely looking up from his newspaper. My sister would laugh. "You mean unemployed with Wi-Fi?" I'd force a smile. Pretend it didn't bother me. But it did. More than I ever admitted. Then things got worse. A few months ago we had a family gathering. My cousin had just bought a new house. Big place. 2 floors. Modern kitchen. Everyone was celebrating. I showed up with a cheap bottle of wine. The best I could afford at the time. My brother Mark took one look at it and raised an eyebrow. "That's it," he said. Loud enough for everyone to hear. A few people chuckled. I felt my face heat up. It's a nice one," I said quietly. He smirked. "Relax, man. We know times are tough for you." More laughter. I wanted to disappear. Then my mom stepped in, but not the way I hoped. "Daniel's still figuring things out," she said, patting my shoulder like I was a child. "He'll get there eventually." Eventually. That word stuck with me. Like I was behind. Like I was less than them. But the worst moment? That came later that night. We were sitting around the table talking about money. Investments. Promotions. Real estate. Things I couldn't relate to. My dad looked at me and said, "So Daniel, how much do you even make in a month?" The room went quiet. I swallowed hard. "It depends," I said. Mark laughed again. Translation. "Not much." And then my sister added, "Be honest. You're barely getting by, right?" I didn't answer. Because at that moment, I was. But what they didn't know was what I'd been working on behind the scenes. Something I hadn't told anyone about. Not even my closest friends. 'Cause I wasn't sure it would work. And I didn't want to be laughed at again. So I stayed quiet. And let them believe their version of me. The broke one. The failure. The one who'd never catch up. But that night when I got home, something inside me snapped. I sat at my desk staring at my bank account. $312.47. That's all I had. I remember thinking, they're right. Maybe I am a joke. But then, my phone buzzed. An email. I almost ignored it. But something told me to open it. And what I saw changed everything. It was from a client I'd been working with for months. A startup I'd helped design branding for. They just closed a huge deal. And they wanted to keep me on full-time. Not just that. They were offering equity. At the time, I didn't fully understand what that meant. But I said yes anyway. And that decision, that's where things started to shift. Slowly at first. Then all at once. I stopped going to family events as often. Stopped answering certain calls. Not because I didn't care. But because I was busy building something they didn't believe in. Days turned into nights. Weeks into months. I worked harder than I ever had in my life. There were still moments I doubted everything. Moments I almost quit. But every time I remembered their laughter, I kept going. Then one day, everything changed again. The company exploded. Out of nowhere. Funding. Growth. New clients. And that equity I barely understood turned into something real. Something big. But I didn't tell anyone. Not yet. Because part of me wanted to wait. Wanted the moment to be perfect. And then that dinner happened. The one I told you about at the beginning. The one where they asked me to show my bank account. Where they laughed. Where they thought they already knew the answer. My brother leaned back again. Come on, Daniel. Don't be shy. My mom smiled. It's okay, honey. We're family. Family. I almost laughed at that. My fingers tightened around my phone. I could feel every eye on me. Waiting. Judging. Expecting me to prove them right. And for a second, I almost didn't do it. But then I thought about everything. The nights I stayed up working. The times I doubted myself. The way they made me feel small. And I realized, this wasn't about money. It was about respect. So I took a breath, unlocked my phone, and turned the screen toward them. For a second, nobody said anything. My brother leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Wait, he said. What is that? My mom's smile faded. Daniel, is that real? I didn't answer. I just held the phone steady. Let them read it. Let it sink in. $842,617. 23. The number sat there, bright and undeniable. And just like that, the room changed. The same people who laughed at me were now completely silent. My sister blinked. There's no way. Mark grabbed my wrist, pulling the phone closer. This has to be fake. What app is this? I pulled my hand back. It's my bank account, I said calmly. You're lying, he snapped. But his voice didn't sound confident anymore. It sounded shaken. Then my dad stood up. Slowly. Like he wasn't sure what he was seeing. Where did you get that kind of money? He asked. Not curious. Not proud. Suspicious. That part didn't surprise me. I shrugged slightly. Remember that online thing you used to make fun of? No one laughed this time. I could feel it. That shift. That uncomfortable realization creeping into the room. But I wasn't done. Because what they were seeing, that wasn't even the full picture. Then my phone buzzed. A notification. Right there. In front of all of them. Another deposit. $120,000. Pending. My sister gasped. What the? Mark just stared. My mom looked like she was trying to piece together a version of me she didn't recognize. And for the first time in my life, they were the ones who looked small. I locked my phone and slipped it into my pocket. Anyway, I said, standing up. I should get going. Wait, Daniel, my mom said quickly. Sit down. We were just laughing. I finished. Her face flushed. That's not what we meant. But I shook my head. It's fine. Really. And I meant that. Because something inside me had already shifted. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was done. Mark stood up too. Bro, hold on. You can't just drop something like that and leave. I looked at him. Really looked at him. This was the same guy who mocked me over a $10 bottle of wine. The same guy who called me broke in front of everyone. And now? Now his tone was different. Careful. Almost respectful. Funny how that works. What do you want me to say? I asked. He hesitated. I mean, how did you do it? There it was. Not are you okay? Not we're sorry. Just how? I gave a small smile. Long nights, I said. And not quitting when everyone thought I should. No one spoke. Then my dad cleared his throat. You should have told us, he said. I tilted my head slightly. Would it have mattered? He didn't answer. Because deep down he knew. It wouldn't have. They didn't believe in me when I had nothing. So why would I share anything when I finally had something? My mom stepped closer. Daniel, we're proud of you. I almost laughed again. Proud. That word felt late. Like showing up to a movie after it's already ended. Thanks, I said. But I didn't do it for you. That one hit. I could see it. The way her expression dropped just slightly. But I wasn't being cruel. I was being honest. And honestly, that felt better than any amount of money. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. Another message. Another reminder of the life I'd built, without them. I really have to go, I said. This time no one tried to stop me. I walked toward the door, each step feeling lighter than the last. Behind me I could hear them starting to talk, whispering, trying to make sense of it all. But I didn't turn around, because for the first time, I didn't need them to understand. Outside, the night air hit my face. Cool, quiet, peaceful. I took a deep breath and pulled out my phone again. Not to check the balance. Not to prove anything. Just to look at it for myself. All those nights. All that doubt. All those moments I almost gave up. It was all there. And it was real. But the money, that wasn't the best part. The best part was this. I didn't feel the need to prove anything anymore. Not to them. Not to anyone. I got into my car, started the engine, and sat there for a second, thinking about everything that had happened and everything that hadn't. They never apologized. Not really. But I didn't need that either. Because their laughter, it didn't define me anymore. And their approval was never the goal. As I pulled out of the driveway, my phone buzzed one last time. A text from my mom. Can we talk? I glanced at it, then set the phone down. Maybe one day, but not tonight. Tonight, it chose me. And that was worth more than anything sitting in that bank account.